On the night of July 12, 2024, Joyce Mary Iwonu, a 16-year-old primary 6 student, was raped and murdered. The crime was committed in her bedroom at about 2 a.m. in her father's home in Koburin Idupa village in Serere District. That night, her father, David Oluka, was out hunting for white ants with his neighbor. As he was walking back to his home, another neighbor called to him, alerting him that he had seen a man running out of his daughter's hut.
I rushed inside the house. I checked the deceased. I found she was dead. I rushed to call my brother. I made an alarm to notify him that my daughter has been killed. So they joined me and we called the police at that time. Okay, do it.
The police came in the morning and using a canine dog, they tried to find the suspect in vain. Emmanuel Ojango, a neighbor, says the suspected killer must have had some kind of training.
After strangling the girl, he started setting fire around the dead body. So he wanted to destroy the evidence so that maybe they say the girl was trying to raid, then maybe she fell asleep and then all of a sudden got burned.
Statistics show a horrifying pattern of femicide in Serere District. On June 12, 2024, 17-year-old Scovia Apio was found murdered in Ogobai village, Chere sub-county. The senior 3 student of Homewood Secondary School was strangled to death. A suspect was arrested and later released on police bond. On June 23rd, Betty Ijangolet, a resident of Atukai village in Kagwara sub-county, was strangled to death in a domestic brawl. On the night of March 12th, unknown assailants murdered 65-year-old Anna Mary Akelo, a resident of Didetok Town Council. Her neighbor, Betty Aroto, found the body. Suspects were arrested, but all were released on police bond.
And I found she was covered with new clothes, like the neck was broken. I don't know who broke it.
The old woman was over 60 years, and the boy who killed her was a boy who had killed his own wife sometime back 4 years ago, and this boy was put in. After a short time, he was released.
On July 26th, Betty Anyango, popularly known as Movit, was murdered in Akudama Cell, Kakus Township. Her body was found lying on the road by early risers rushing to their work. In Odungura Parish, Mary Akelo was strangled to death on August 5th, 2024. Femicide, which is an extreme form of gender-based violence, is gender-related murder, specifically committed by a man. This kind of murder is rooted in women's position in society, an equal distribution of power between men and women, and violence against women, and it involves ongoing abuse, threats, and sexual violence. Last week, Rebecca Cheptegei, a cross-country, long-distance and marathon runner, died from burn wounds inflicted by her ex-partner who had doused her in petrol and set her alight. The 33-year-old sustained more than 80% burns on her body. Earlier this week, the suspect, David Ndiema, who allegedly burnt Cheptegei over a land dispute, died in a Nairobi hospital. However, there are also cases of non-intimate femicide. In 2016 and 2017, at least 28 women were murdered in Nansana Municipality and Katabi Town Council, both in Wakiso District. So far, only one person has been convicted over the murders. In May this year, a taxi driver, Isaac Niwagaba, confessed to murdering 6 women on Entebbe Road in Wakiso District. He admitted to strangling the women, aged between 20 to 25, in his taxi between the months of March and May. As the sun goes down, disappearing behind the tall trees in the direction of Lake Choga, most roads in Serere District are empty. Those that used to be very busy in the evenings show no signs of life after 6:30 p.m. as residents disappear into their houses. Martha Apolot, a resident of Kidetok Town Council, is one of those who lock their doors by 6 p.m. She recently survived being murdered.
I woke up and found that the door was open. I closed it again. Then eventually he opened the door.
Raising an alarm, Apolot dodged the man and ran out of the room. I
struggled with this man from 2 a.m. to almost 3 a.m. and it was raining. I overpowered him and he walked away.
Josephine Amongin, a tailor in the same town council, is another survivor. She was unaware that the attacker was lurking in the shadows as she opened her door to fetch rainwater on her veranda at 11 p.m.
But at around 2 a.m., I suddenly woke up only to find that a man was already in my house. So I screamed, then he ran out.
Amongin says the lone police officer who responded to her neighbors' alarms advised them to return to their houses and lock the doors. Joseph Opit Okojo, a former district chairperson of Serere, blames the murders on a lackluster attitude towards security by the key stakeholders.
There is what we call intelligence-led operations. What is our intelligence doing? Most of the GISOs we now have are obsolete. Actually, I would say they are useless. They are only deceiving the president and the government that they are working.
The police, however, say they are doing their best to apprehend the criminals.
We have devised ways of having army officers to beef up the security in Serere. A few weeks as we speak, there were several operations which were made in those areas and in different trading centers.
We need soldiers to continue being in Serere, but also the facilitation of these soldiers is so poor. These boys suffer from a hollow night, but when you see the facilitation, when you see the attention given to these soldiers, you do not want to be part of them.
Meanwhile, the bereaved families are still waiting for their day in court when they will come face to face with the killers of their loved ones.